Good afternoon, I'm Rory. This is 420 Central TV. We are at the Sandton Expo and I have the pleasure of chatting with Steyn.
Hey Rory, thank you so much for allowing me to be here and to chat with you and your audience.
Yeah. Absolutely. So Megan, just to start out, tell us a little bit about the business that you're in.
Okay, with pleasure. So I have a business called CBD Care. We are a retail health and wellness space. We focus on CBD products, but also other health products. Yeah. We have 2 shops at the moment. We're based in Sedgefield and George, as well as online, and we're hopefully rolling out the franchise. Also, on my side hustle, or not so much a side hustle, but a passion, I've reignited a network called Sativa Sisters, yeah, which is a network for professional women in the cannabis space. So
I like it.
Whether you are already in the space or wanting to come into the space, come join the network. It's just a safe space for support, for dialogue, for conversation, and just bringing women to the front a little bit more.
Okay. You know, you've gone straight into already what it is you deliver in terms of the time that you spend. You've now got these 2 shops. Where it leads me to is what today's discussion's about is that you have shops, I have shops, many people have shops, and all of us are, or a large amount of us are sourcing our goods from somewhere. Some have got track and traceability. Some have got members and members clubs that are attached in that track and traceability. Some people have no legislation or any form of control whatsoever. And it leads to what happened to us the other day with the health minister putting pen to paper and saying no more because of an incident or whatever it is. And an entire industry came to a grinding halt. And lo and behold, a week or so later, the pen was erased and we're back to a space that does need to be something of concern. And today, Megan's going to actually talk us through, she's got a poster, she'll talk us through, but this is about safety when it comes to the usage of cannabis for all people, whether it's children, adults, anybody. You're sitting in a world where many people haven't yet had an encounter with cannabis, are keen to. There should be some standards, there should be some safety. So I'm going to hand it over to you. Pardon for the lengthy introduction, but tell us a little bit about what this specific program is.
Sure, awesome. Thanks. Well, thanks for that introduction, Rory.
Cool.
So what this is, can I just show you this?
Please.
So you can see that yellow triangle there with the cannabis leaf in it, right? So this has been put forward by ASTM, where they are an international organization that helps set standards, right? They have researched the symbol. They've created it with an organization called Doctors for Cannabis Regulation. And what the symbol is, it is called the International Intoxicating Cannabinoid Product Symbol. So any product with an intoxicating cannabinoid in it should have this put on so that it shows, it's a clear indication that when you see this, it's caution, it's yield. Just take a moment and see, realize that what you're about to consume has intoxicating cannabinoids in it. And you know, as a community, as an industry, we are crying for regulations so that stuff like that ban doesn't happen again, right? And our regulators are saying to us, how do we regulate you? You know, they don't have the answers either. There's no blueprint to reference to. This is a new industry.
Absolutely.
And it starts at places like this. It starts with this symbol going onto our products so that people are aware that that has intoxicating cannabinoids on it.
I want to just ask you there, it's an interesting point to ask. Intoxicating cannabinoid, does that include CBD?
It doesn't.
It doesn't.
It doesn't.
What is your view on whether it should or not?
So, well, intoxicating is THC. Okay,
Yes.
so that is the cannabinoid that is going to make you high. Yeah, CBD has more. It deals more with stress, anxiety, that type of thing. So it's not intoxicating.
I get that. I
Yeah.
want to ask you, I want to press on because I
Yes.
think you're absolutely right. We're at the beginning of this, and there needs to be different layers and different categories and things like that. But if you think about it, it's actually, there's a massive aversion, let's put it under stigma, to cannabis. So whether you CBD or THC, should people not be in a position where they're warned of the fact that it's cannabis? Just a question mark, not a, do you know what I mean? Is the next step that anything cannabis rather than intoxicating cannabinoid should be a signal of that's what you're dealing with? Almost let's extend it to those that are have an aversion to gluten, etc., etc. Just the idea of there is this space in people's minds where they have an aversion to it. Should we be going to that extent and saying anything cannabis should carry something?
Well, I think when you go get a product, whether it's from a store, an online, you're going to go get a cannabis product. I think where this symbol comes in place is that it's an intoxicating product. And there's been so much misconception over the last few years because products have been sold as CBD plus. There is no such thing as CBD plus.
Sure.
What that was is because obviously now people are trying to get it to market. It's a way of getting around the fact that that's actually THC, right?
More so the question in that case that if people are using it to get around, then anything cannabis should at least carry the
But you know it's cannabis.
suggestion, do you know what I mean, rather than...
Okay, so you're going to go into a shop, you're going to get bud, you know it's cannabis. You're going to buy a tincture, you know it's cannabis. What you don't know is what type of cannabis is in there.
100%.
Is it CBD? Is it THC?
Yes.
Is it CBN? Is it CBG?
Yes.
So the thing is that the THC is the intoxicating one. That's where the stigma is even more created when someone has a 50 milligram gummy and that's the first time user and they just see 50 milligrams. They don't know what it is. There's nothing to warn them.
Yes.
You know, now THC, 50 milligrams of THC can knock a lot of people out.
And I think that it can chase people away from cannabis, and it shouldn't. But I think maybe I'm looking beyond the purchase point. I'm looking at the point where it's lying on a table or it's on someone's counter or wherever it might be post-purchase, that it gets left lying around. Should we be stepping into that space just in terms of packaging and saying, hey, this has got cannabis in it, whether it's one or the other? I mean, I'm gonna dwell on it a second and say, you know, if you go and you have yourself a CBD joint, do you feel a really nice sense of relaxation then? So for me, you're almost in a space where is that in its own right not some kind of psychoactive effect on your mind? So not that it's going to be damaging or intoxicating or create anxiety, but it's certainly still something that is removing your mind from its normal state to something relaxed, etc. Should all things cannabis in the future, I think what's on here is great. Should we be, what are the next steps is perhaps the right question to ask.
Okay, so I'm going to take a step back there to the word that you use, psychoactive. Because so often CBD it's perceived as psychoactive, right? It is, because psychoactive means it's reducing the stress and the anxiety, but it's not intoxicating.
I'm with you.
And when you spoke about smoking a CBD joint, I've smoked CBD, and what it does, it gives my body a relaxation and less of the head high.
Yes.
But obviously now it does depend on the cultivar that you're smoking. So
100%.
Okay, but you know it's cannabis.
Yeah.
You know it's cannabis,
Sure.
right? So I hear you. What I feel with this is the intoxicating aspect, because that's harm reduction.
You've nailed it for me. I think we're trying to
reduce harm.
I like it. So I mean, we had the conversation, we were chatting a little bit about it yesterday and sort of saying this is a fantastic start point, and I think people that are in the industry in South Africa need to, we'll put a little bit more information in terms of the poster in the video, but people need to be considering this as a starting point when it comes to being in the cannabis industry. If you're doing any form of packaging or processing and you're passing it on, whether it's through a club or any other safe space, it should come with these kind of warnings. Go out there and look for and understand what warnings should be on there. Put the right amount of milligrams, etc., onto your packaging. And let's make sure that we're doing exactly that, reducing harm. Megan, anything more from you? One of the things, pardon me, is how do people get in touch with you?
So I've got my website, cbdcare.co.za, and all my contact details are there. They're welcome to get hold of me. My email address is info@cbdcare@gmail.com. And welcome to contact anytime with any questions. I love answering these kind of questions. One last thing I do want to say, one last thing I forgot to mention is that this symbol is available for our manufacturers and packaging people. It is available on the ASTM website, and it's also available on Fields of Green for All's website. Yeah, the logo.
ASTM?
Yes.
What is that acronym for?
American Standards for Testing and Material.
American Standards for Testing and Material, and one day we'll have a South African Standards for Testing and Material. And before we go away, part of that conversation was, in some instances, we don't have to learn something a second and a third time or go and investigate it. Other countries have been doing this before us, and there's certain things that should be being adopted rather than reinvented. Would you agree with
100%.
that?
And also it's an international symbol.
Yes.
So if we want to play in the international space, then let's adopt these symbols and get it out there.
Yes. And that came up in both symposium and one or two other discussion spaces, was the idea of, if you're wanting to have a broader audience than your South African market, or you're looking further afield, it's not about our standard, it's not about our quality, it's not about anything here, it's about that route to market. What are their standards and expectations? And know that they have that, because the harm reduction and protection of their citizens is as important. So if you're going to be in that market space, make sure that you're getting tapped into what the standards and expectations are. Thank you very much for listening. Thank you very much for joining us. It's been super chatting with you.
It's always a treat. Thank you.
Ciao for now. Thank you for